Part of the Press Play Podcast Network. Part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Chase Smith here from the Chase Smith Podcast and Cavs on the Break NBA Podcast.
And I'm JD, host of the Hyman Podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, and we are super excited to bring you a brand new show starting next Tuesday, the Fanfare Podcast.
The Fanfare Podcast is all about your favorite movies and our favorite movies and the best moments in cinema. To help guide our discussion, each episode will feature one classic, and we will grade this movie using a report card-like scale A through F. We're going to be grading categories like acting, directing, cinematography, the score, and even the movie poster itself.
And when we're not featuring a movie report card, we'll be sharing our movie rankings, franchise deep dives, actor and director interviews, and everything in between. Movies have been a major part of our lives, and we cannot wait to share our thoughts with you.
Our premiere episode will drop Tuesday, June 27th, and JD and I will be reviewing Raiders of the Lost Ark in preparation of the release of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny on June 30th, the fifth installment of the franchise.
Join us on the Fanfare Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Hey everybody, what is up? This is Chase Smith. I host Cavs on the Break NBA podcast and the Chase Smith Podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network. And I'm going to be hosting this special episode of Up Next, all about Succession. And to join me, I have some very, very good friends. Brookes May, she hosts Books with Brookes. Brookes, I can't wait to talk Succession with you.
Hello, I'm so excited.
There it is. There it is. And also joining us, you've heard him every now and then on Up Next. He is our director of production. He is always working behind the scenes, but we're going to bring him on the show to talk Succession. Michael Seijas. Michael, you're on the mic. What's up, man?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yo, so, all right. Succession was the show on HBO that we and a bunch of other people watched pretty religiously, quite a bit.
I'm so sad just to hear you say was.
I know.
It was a show on HBO. Boo!
It was a show. But I think that speaks to how the show had a purpose. It had a story it wanted to tell, and it told that story, and it's done. Michael, do you wish the show, would have continued, or do you think
No.
ending it as it did adds to its
I think 4 seasons is perfect. I think there was one thing, shout out Adam, that he said that I really got stuck with in Up Next, where he was like, shows lately have just been they know when to end it. 1 to 3 seasons, 1 to 4 seasons, 1 to 5 seasons. Back in the day, it used to be like 1 to 10, 1 to 6, 1 to 7.
Because they wanted that syndication money. They wanted, they had to get to 27 episodes or whatever it was per season for the syndication or whatever that was, that magic number.
And I think now we're starting to see that 1 to 4, 1 to 5 is like the perfect length. And this show, one thing that I wrote in my notes is 40 episodes or 39, because season 3 had 9 episodes, but 40 episodes is just consistency, all the way through. There was not a drop, in my opinion. Yeah. So it just all flames.
Brookes, you're sad the show ended. I'm sad too, but
of course.
What would the next season look? I think it's pretty obvious what the next season will look like, but
are we doing spoilers in this episode?
That's another thing. So we're going to be spoiling this show because we're talking about not only the finale of Succession, but the show in its entirety. We're going to be talking about our favorite characters, our favorite episodes, our thoughts on what story the show's trying to tell, and what could happen, and its place among its in TV lore. So, Brookes, 4 seasons, and gosh, we feel like the 5th season at least is just right there.
I think Michael, I don't disagree with anything you said, right. And I do respect a show that chooses its own ending. However, I think this was a premise that is endless. We could have watched this endlessly. We could have had 20 seasons of this show. The story isn't over I don't think at all, for really any of the characters. And I would love to watch what the heck is going to happen with Tom and Shiv going forward.
So I think that is where the story is. Like the way that they kind of ended the series with Kendall and even Roman to an extent, like I'm so much more invested and care about Tom and Shiv and how they work with Mattson and all that and new Waystar Royko than Kendall is just such a tragic story. Like that's a tragedy. Roman seemed like it's like, oh, that was a fun, crazy 3 years. What's next? Like he wasn't really a part of the company to begin with. So I don't know. Like the way that the series ends with Tom and Shiv, like not even holding hands, but
not
like
even holding hands. That detail is so strong.
Yes, like you can just tell. Like there's so much story there to be told. Brookes, let's hypothetically do a 5th season right now, me and you. Okay. Is there a time jump? Or do
yes. I think so. Although, yes. Maybe because between other seasons, there have been time jumps. So I think that's fair. I think you have to jump ahead to when Shiv has the baby.
Or do like
we've got,
the first episode is like they're in the car, like it kind of ends that day, that first episode, and then there's a time jump.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Because I think, we need to jump ahead. We need to see how the merger has gone, or I guess the acquisition. And I think the baby needs to be born. Yeah, definitely a time jump.
Yeah. So Tom is the successor.
Of course.
Does Tom win? Michael, do you think Tom won?
Yes. And you know what's crazy? Because I rewatched the last episode like last week, and Shiv kind of just served that up in the platter to Mattson that Tom was the right guy, really. I mean, she said it without even trying to say it. Because he was just saying, like, I don't know if he can curse, but she was just saying like, oh, Tom is just a nobody. I mean, like he's the biggest puppet, you know, he'll suck anyone's dick. He sucks the biggest dick in the room, you know. And then Mattson, in my opinion, Mattson was just giving him like that play of just like when they had a sitting down together and he was telling him like, I mean, I didn't want anything to do with Shiv. I really just wanted to fuck her. And I feel like that was like a plot. It was just basically seeing if he's gonna crack or not. And he didn't.
It was a test.
It was just, it was definitely a test. And he realized, okay, Tom might be the guy, and he just moved forward with him. So it made sense to me.
So I think Tom always wanted power and authority, and he only for some reason had it over Greg. It was like loved and abused that because that's how he was treated. But then he had this like fight with Shiv. I think Tom wanted love. He wanted no Shiv to love him.
No doubt.
He didn't seem very happy in that car. He didn't seem, that wasn't like, I don't know. I think he got what he wanted, but I think, I don't know. Maybe he did. They're all awful people. Like that's the thing. Every one of these people are awful. And somehow we are rooting and wanting them to succeed. Brookes, did you want Kendall to get the job?
Oh, no, I didn't. But the show did such an amazing job of letting us watch the siblings bond and sort of like you think like they're coming full circle, they're growing up, they're finally going to have each other's backs after all of like this shit we've gone through. And I thought that like, what did they call it? Like drink for a king, or what was it?
Oh yeah, the drink.
It was a meal for a king.
Meal for a king. Like that scene was really affecting.
Yeah.
And I found myself rooting for him, even though like I hate that guy and he's awful. Well, and like he would do a terrible job. So I don't know. That's really hard to answer.
We saw so much growth in this 4th season from Kendall. From how he really was compassionate towards Roman the entire time. Maybe he even like was like, oh man, you fired Jerry, we're gonna do fire me next. Like he never like crapped on Roman's like mistakes. I think for a moment he tried to do the CE bros or whatever with Kendall or with Roman. But the Living Plus speech, how he was able to step up and like offer this point counterpoint eulogy at the funeral. How he was getting like, hey, Colin, come work for me. Like, you don't need to see us. Like, come work for me. Hey, Hugo, like there'll be scraps, but there'll be millions. Like he was like kind of,
you'll be my dog.
Getting a lot of swag. And then to see him moments before the vote on his dad's desk with his feet up on the desk. Like, it just, Shiv's face is so repulsive. It just went back to Logan. Like, they're not serious people. Like, they are not serious people.
That I felt like that was the main idea of the whole season, really, the whole series, to be honest. But man, when he said that, I was like, yeah, it followed through the whole rest of the show. So,
yep. And
Chase, were you rooting for Kendall?
I was rooting for Kendall. But the moment his feet was on the desk, I was like, oh no, come on, man, don't do that. Like, he was so close, and I was standing on my feet during the Living Plus speech. I got off of the couch. I was like super pumped. I did not want to see him fail. And when Roman backed out and Carl did his thing, is like, I'm the CFO, blah, 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 blah. Don't F me over or whatever. And he went out and he crushed it. Like, I was super pumped for him. Like, I was super excited. And I just seeing like, oh man, is he going to help with Matsson or Mencken, like the America Decides episode? It was just fascinating to see. I thought he did a great job at the funeral. I was rooting for him. I wanted to see that growth. And then when I saw his feet on the desk and him like chumming it up with Stewie, I was like, oh no, no, it's not going to happen. Oh no. So I did. Here's my issue with the Tom Matsson conversation, Michael, you talked about. I didn't think that was true. I never thought
Which
that
part?
When Matsson was like, I want it to be you.
Oh yeah, no, same. I thought it was bullshit. I thought he was just
completely.
Like, yes, agreed.
And so even to the point where he told Shiv at the dad's, I was like, poor Tom, dude, this dude
same Chase
struggle. Like, what does he think? And so I thought, I don't even know what I thought. I just didn't expect to actually be Tom. I didn't believe that. I didn't feel like that was true to the show. I felt like everything else was reading between the lines, was, oh, this isn't true. Oh, this is a play. It wasn't true, but it was true. And I think I felt like from all the other times the rug was pulled out from under me and I didn't have sure footing, I didn't put stock in that or believe it because of everything else. That was my main concern with the finale. I felt like that wouldn't have happened. Brooks, you felt that way too.
Yeah, I did. However, I don't know if that was like a mistake in the writing or if it was intentional in that like Matsson is kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, and so we were seeing that he's not maybe as manipulative as we thought, or like not as good at business as we thought. Like, yeah. I don't know. I feel like sort of what we learned about Matsson is that he isn't the genius the world believes.
Right.
So maybe it was just showing that like he actually isn't like this master negotiator.
And I also felt like it went against Tom's character because throughout the really entire show, I felt like Tom showed really genuine business, like smart and acumen. And it was on full display this season. In the first episode of this season, he acts as like the Pierce, like when Logan is negotiating with Pierce and Tom's one on the phone talking with him, like kind of interpreting what they're saying to Logan. Tom handles Logan's death incredibly well, super like level-headed, like he was just like, he's who I wanted to be in that position. Like he knew how to play Logan with, hey man, I'll go to jail for you. He knew exactly when to betray the kids at the end of season 3. And so every step of the way, Tom really knew what the heck he was doing. I felt like that conversation with Matsson, it didn't seem real to me, and it didn't seem true to Tom's character. It seemed like I didn't trust Matsson. He was full of just bullshit, and I didn't think that it was real, but it was. And Tom got what he wanted, and now he just gets to be this. How did Matsson put it? Like this crap. What was the term he used when he's at the dinner? It's like a whipping boy, or
I can't remember.
Yeah, I do remember him saying something like that.
Like,
yeah.
I just need someone to absorb a pain sponge. He's like, I need you to be a pain sponge.
Yeah.
And Tom's like, hey, I'm game for that. Oh my goodness. All right. So Michael, did you like the finale?
I loved it. I loved everything about it. Like everything that you said is the reason why I think in the car, like when he was with Shiv and they barely touched hands, like I feel like he was satisfied with that. I feel like he was satisfied with just winning.
Yeah.
Was he surprised for it? Of course, but
and
at the end of the day, I feel like everything that you said, like when you said in terms of how he handled Logan's death and what he was doing when he was talking with the Pierces and interpreting that with the kids and Logan, like he was the guy. I mean,
and I guess he finally had power over Shiv. Like up until this point, I need to go back and look. Does he have like the literal upper hand in that car scene, or is he like asking for it?
No, her hand is on top.
Yeah, her hand is on top.
But he opens his hand first.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to kiss the ring, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
and one thing.
Go ahead, Michael.
One thing I was gonna say is like Shiv became literally everything that she didn't want to be.
Her mother. She became her mother.
Yeah. And it was either just like, because I was gonna ask you guys, who do you guys think won out of the three? I mean, obviously you can leave Kendall behind, but out of Roman and out of Shiv, like who do you guys think won at the end?
What do you mean by win? Because I think two of them could quote unquote win. I think Roman feels the most free because he came to terms with they're all bullshit. Right? He's sitting Indian style, crisscross applesauce on this desk where everyone can see them, just trying to tell Kendall, hey, this is all bullshit. And he's like,
we are bullshit.
Right. And so I think he's the most free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was also very broken by what happened with Jerry. I think for him and his character, like that was maybe worse than the acquisition. Like, I mean, he really like kind of sold his soul and lost a really important person.
Well, the teeny tiny soul that these people have, like, it's like yeah. He orders Jerry's drink. That's Jerry's drink at the end. Did you know that? And he
orders Jerry's drink at the end. Yes,
with
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I was like, I noticed that too.
Yeah, with a little smirk. So I think he's the most free. Brooks, who do you think won?
Probably Connor.
That is true.
Connor got his wife, and now he's gonna go be an ambassador or something in like Oman or where was it? I don't know. Like he didn't win his bid for president, but like his guy won. I don't know. Maybe Connor.
He gets the dad penthouse.
He gets the penthouse, which he wanted for some reason. That place sucked.
Oh my gosh. Which by the way, all of them just became billionaires in this final episode, and they're all like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. Like they literally earned like billions billions of dollars in this deal. You know,
have you all heard that theory that the opening is actually shots of Tom and Shiv's kids?
Oh,
what?
Yeah, so there's this like internet theory that like that it's not actually of the four Roy kids, but it's actually of the Wamsgans family. And that like the reason it looks old timey is because like Tom like dresses them that way.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I don't think I buy it, but it's
well,
cool
it's not
theory.
all four of the kids, right?
No, it is. There's four.
There's four.
Three boys and one girl.
We would always skip the intro except for the finale. We watched it like because it's a long intro. It's like 2.5 minutes long.
It's long.
Just, like, keeps going.
It's long.
Same with White Lotus. We would watch it the premiere, the first episode, skip it, and then watch it the finale just to kind of
get the full experience.
Because that's the long intro too. White Lotus.
People loved the White Lotus. The internet loved the White Lotus intro.
Did Adam watch the White Lotus? I don't remember. We talked.
He never talked about it.
I feel like we had before. I don't think he's watched that one either. I don't know. Brooke, did you watch the White Lotus?
Oh yeah.
Is it I just called it the White Lotus. Like I'm my dad.
Yeah, I guess it's just White Lotus. Yeah, I watched it. I liked season 1 the best, but Aubrey Plaza was amazing in season 2.
Oh yeah.
I did too. Take me back to Hawaii. I even though Italy was beautiful, I just loved the feel of Hawaii and
yeah.
Apparently season 3 is going to be in Asia.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I did watch White Lotus. Interestingly, another show that I watched alone without my husband. Typically, I only watch TV with him, like we do it as an activity. But for some reason, those 2 shows I watched by myself. He didn't watch them with me. So if you need someone to talk about White Lotus, would love to join.
We might be doing this when season 3 starts. Michael, so who do you think won? Wait, Brooks, did you say who you think won?
I said Connor.
Oh, Connor. That's right, Connor. I'm going Roman. Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going Roman as well, just because like from the start of the show, like he was bullshitting from the jump. He really didn't even want the CEO position until Logan kind of led him on to think that he could have done it, but he wasn't built for it. And at the end of the day, he was just like, he came to the realization, like, dude, we are nothing. We are bullshit. And Shiv, she just like, it was either like, okay, do I give the kids the vote? Because that's basically like conceding. Or do I give Tom the vote? And, now I get to be everything that I didn't want to be, but I'm in a higher position being, a CEO wife versus being with, the kids, and they're going to shit on me one way or another because they've been doing it the entire series. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, she didn't get what she wanted, but I still don't think that she won. I would say Roman for sure.
You know who didn't win? Go ahead, Brooks.
Oh, no. It's a slight change of topic, so please continue.
Greg did not win. Oh boy.
Greg.
Oh boy.
He did essentially what Tom did in the last episode of season 3. Except he was dealing with unserious people, so he lost.
Yep, Greg was loyal to a fault to Kendall.
Yeah.
All you need to know about Greg is he sued Greenpeace. That's all you need to know. Like, and then he like bragged about it. Like the moment that happened, like, oh, this guy he's not winning, or whatever. But gosh, Tom is going to just abuse him. You know who else didn't win? Hugo.
Woo! Oh yeah. Oh,
sorry, Hugo.
Carolina with the dub. Where's Carolina? Right? It's like, oh man, Hugo.
Ouch, Hugo.
So is Mencken still the president? Brooks, in your like time jump, did Mencken hold, or did that other guy? I don't even remember.
Mencken. I think Mencken takes it because I think you want to show like the power of ATN, and then let that sort of run amok, and trample all over our democracy.
Yep. Any other winners or losers? I'm trying to think here. Oh, I think the OG mom is a winner. It was that to Caroline mother. Is that Caroline? Is that her name?
She's a winner, but she also just like, I don't know. She might be the worst of all of them.
Really bad.
Like, what a shit mom. Just
really bad.
There was one season where she said she'd rather have like dogs than children.
Yeah,
I forgot what episode it was, but
that was season 3.
Yeah, she said something like that.
Was that season 2 when they were like, when Shiv was like, Tom, I've never loved you, and they were on the yacht, and he's like, seashells on the sand. I don't remember.
Yeah. It was one of the earlier seasons. It was something like that.
I think I say she won because she had the moment at the funeral where she's like just like holding court with everyone at the funeral, and
that was a power move.
That was awesome. And then she gets the kids at her house like the day before this huge vote goes through, and they have this really like middle school moment, and they're like up late in the kitchen and don't eat so and so's cheese. I think she won.
Yeah, I mean, she got really rich, and I think that's kind of all she cares about anyway. So
yeah. Willa also lost. I think Willa lost.
I don't know. Willa is a character that we don't really ever. I don't know. I don't think we know enough about her to make that judgment call.
But I don't think she wanted to be an ambassador's wife in Oman. I think she didn't want to be with Mencken.
Yeah, that's fair.
unless
fair.
she's just going to stay stateside.
Because she has that line that's like, all my family hate Minkin or something. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but she did like choose. I mean, she like actively chose.
She did. And was there for him like at night when he would go to bed. Like, I really like the Connor winning because he's like, hey, at the end of the day, I have someone who chose me. I might be rich, but I still have someone, and you guys have nothing, literally nothing.
And I liked what they did with Willa in this last season with her like makeup and wardrobe, because she really like there was this evolution with her where she suddenly looks like a politician's wife.
Yep.
And I felt like that illustrated like how supportive she was being of him, and like that's all he wanted, and she was doing it. And like, I don't know, it was a character evolution for me in a way that really fit.
All right. Even the wedding, he was like, what if we did this for like a stunt? And she's like, oh, that's not really what I wanted, but okay, I see that. Okay. All right. You're talking me into Willa. I see it. She had that poof hair that was like framed her face.
Yeah, her like hair and makeup really changed.
Yeah.
In a way that I liked a lot. Okay, here's a question.
Okay.
Did Shiv do what she did for love? Because she suddenly like she realizes she believes in love and she chooses Tom? Or did she do it for spite? Because if she can't be CEO, no one can.
I think more the latter, because she still has a role and has authority and power in the company. And so she, quote unquote, won in her eyes, but it costs so much. And she never likes to fail a test, does she, Siobhan? And so she doesn't want to have this like whatever public perception of, oh, you don't have a, the baby daddy who's the CEO of your dad's company is not in your life. Like, I think it's just like so convenient. It's gross. And it's just like, well, I definitely can't have Kendall do this. And so might as well be the father of my child, who I am still technically married to. And so, I hate life and I'm my mother.
Yeah. No, Chase hit it out the park.
I don't think it was love. Do you think it was love, Brookes?
No, I don't. I want it to be.
No, I don't think she's ever loved Tom, ever.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think she has either. He was like a convenient.
I think she proposed at the lowest point of her life. I don't think she was ever faithful to him. And I don't think she liked when he started to get balls and not love her back. I think that bugged her. He's like, well, wait, you don't love me? I'm Siobhan Roy. You should like, why don't you love me? You're just a peon. You're just this like,
you don't deserve me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know if she knows what love is, to be honest.
That's what Tom said when they were in the balcony. They had that conversation. I think it was episode 7.
Scene. Can we talk about that scene?
Yeah. That was their climax of their relationship. Like, that was
oh my
intense.
Goodness. Brookes, is this one of the best written shows that you've watched?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I know it's like
but I also think it's one of the best cast shows.
Mm-hmm.
I just think every character is you could tell that the writers wrote for those actors.
Mm-hmm.
At least in later seasons, and it just works beautifully.
Yeah, it's super funny. Like, it's very, very funny. And it's effective. And we talked about how all of a sudden, like, these people are awful people, but we're like, oh my gosh, I hope somehow, for some reason, hope that they get what they want. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, I mean, where are you at on the writing of the show, man? I mean, do you think it's just in the conversation, one of the best written shows on TV?
Oh yeah, for sure. And especially as of late, like if we were to talk about like as of late, like I think for HBO, just HBO on its own, it might be like top 3, like HBO show for me.
Well,
it's mainly because of the writing. Because
so let's have that conversation. Is this one of the greatest shows of all time, Michael? Are you just doing only HBO shows, or are you just throwing it all of all time?
I'm doing HBO shows. I don't have a number 1 just because I love The Wire so much. It kind of surpassed. I don't want to sound like I'm in the moment, but it kind of surpassed Game of Thrones for me, just because it was like that ending was just, you guys know.
Yeah. They threw Game of Thrones away. They flushed it down the toilet. It no longer makes any lists for me.
I've seen one episode of Game of Thrones.
That's it?
I have 3 cultural blind spots. I've never watched The Simpsons. I've seen like 3 episodes of Seinfeld, and I've not watched Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Okay, The Simpsons is crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like 30
that's
seasons.
Surprising.
So, Brooks, where is this in your pantheon of like drama for longer than 30-minute TV shows? Like not like 30-minute comedies, not like.
Yeah, it's really high. It's really high on the list.
I'm with you.
Although I also think I don't really watch dramas.
Yes.
And so I would be more inclined to want to compare this to comedies that I love, because I also think this show is incredibly funny.
Super funny. I totally agree. It is still one of the funniest shows. Like
every scene with Tom and Greg is laugh out loud funny.
As terrifying as the election episode was, that episode was hilarious.
Oh my God. It was so funny.
Brilliant.
I made Jake come in, who has not watched any of the show. I made him come in and rewatch with me the scene where there's a shooter at ATN and they're in the wrong safe room.
Yes.
That's just a room. That is the funniest shit.
Yeah.
And the way that they do it in serious situations, in real life situations, like that really touch on like our culture and like serious issues, but it's so funny.
Yes.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Most of the things Greg said was super funny. Remember, he's like on deposition, he's like, "It is if it has to be is, and it done as it is," or whatever. He like says some
yes, I shall. Yeah.
Limerick. I'm like, dude, you're such an idiot. He is not serious people. Yeah. And so I think people will include, really think this will be included in like these lists, whether it's with, Breaking Bad or Sopranos is another one that's up there. Brooks, me and Leslie don't watch a lot of like dramas either. And so when we do, we're like, what is TV? Oh my gosh, TV can do this.
Yeah, totally.
Have you guys
but putting it with Breaking Bad for me is, I love that. And I think they're comparable shows. And I think they're similar in a lot of ways in that we get these anti-hero characters
right,
who are awful people, but you're still rooting for them.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to write.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Mayor of Easttown?
Yes. I really liked Mayor of Easttown.
I loved it.
Mayor of Easttown.
Mayor, not King of East. There's another Easttown with Jeremy Renner, or
what?
It's like Mayor of Kingstown, I think, where he's the mayor of Kingstown, but not Mayor of East. It's Mayor
of Easttown.
Yeah. So this is Michael. Have you seen it?
No, I was just about to ask, what is it on?
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's on HBO. It's with Kate Winslet. I think the greatest living actress, like right now. I mean, I think Michael, it is incredible. But me and Leslie don't watch a lot of dramas, and so you have this drama and this like true crime thriller mystery. We were like, holy crap, TV is amazing. Nothing's ever better than this. We were just like blown away. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, just like the very stereotypical stuff, like we watch Breaking Bad pretty much live. We watch Sopranos with our second, like during this.
Never watched Sopranos.
It's Brooks. It's really good.
That's a cultural blind spot that I have.
Yep. It's very good. It's actually excellent. I think
I believe you. I don't know how I missed it. I just sort of missed it. You know how those things go. Like you didn't pick it up right away, and then you kind of never do, and then it's sort of like, well, now I'm committed to not watching it.
It was like 98, 99 HBO. Nothing else was really like it. I think that anti-hero paved the way for Sopranos, for Breaking Bad. Like that was, I think they say like one of the first like, and Gandolfini is just a tour de force. So that's fantastic. Yeah. I have a couple other shows here I was thinking about. I don't think this is better than these shows. I haven't seen The Wire, Michael. Sorry. I've heard incredible things. I know.
The Wire is like,
I know.
That's up there. That's my favorite show. Well, it's between that and Breaking Bad. It flip-flops.
Yeah. Where you guys at on Mad Men?
What about House of Cards? Oh, Mad Men.
So I fell out of House of Cards in the end. I fell out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I did too. It jumped the shark, and then they had the whole Kevin Spacey issue. But
yeah,
the first like 3 seasons of House of Cards are incredible TV.
Super intense. Yeah, that was early Netflix too, which is also exciting. You're like, whoa, what is this? Like, woo, Netflix.
It was show. Like it was a new way to like experience television. Yes.
Yeah.
It was that Orange is the New Black. Like,
oh yeah, Orange is the New Black. Yeah,
which is another one that I fell out of like pretty fast.
No, that one is understandable too because it got shaky in the end. So
it rode past the book and truth and the things that were sort of the foundation of that story for me, and I couldn't do it.
Michael, Mare of Easttown is not a long commitment. There's like 12 episodes and they're like 45, 50 minutes, and it's like a short. It's not a season. It's just like a
limited series.
A limited series. Yes, that's the phrase. Yeah. You got to check that out, man. Oh my gosh. And then we got to talk about it because I would watch that again. That's how good it is. You guys watch Severance? Another kind of newer.
I am obsessed with Severance. Yes. But it's another one that is a comedy.
Yes.
Is a dark comedy for me. And like, I mean, for everyone, but like more than it is a drama, I think it is a dark comedy. And I love that.
Yeah, Severance. Leslie loves Severance a lot more than I do. I think it's great and I enjoy it, but she's like that. Let's watch it again. She's always suggesting watching it again. She's like, let's like when season 2, what they're having trouble producing. Like she's all like Severance.
That's
yes, Michael, Severance. Are you on the Severance train?
I'm not on it. I've never seen it. I know what it is though. I never seen it. I got to tap in.
Yeah, super fun. Anyone True Detective? I feel like that had a moment.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I got kind of sick of it, but yes.
Season 1 I felt like had a lot of hype. And then
I slept through season 2.
Gotcha. So that show, they're different like I don't know much about True Detective. I just know of it.
Yeah, it's like a different murder story every season that features first person interviews with different like really famous actors who are playing detectives. I find it a little bit exhausting, but part of that is just Matthew McConaughey is exhausting.
That's true.
What about Barry?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes, we did watch Barry.
Barry's another one that's like it's a dark comedy with this anti-hero character that you really root for, but like is a bad guy.
I would put Barry as a comedy before a drama though. I don't know why.
I mean, it's a dark comedy for sure. Barry is so heavy. I kind of had to stop watching it. I don't know. It was like really like hurting me somehow.
Yes. Yeah, it was a really rough, like Succession ended and Barry ended, like I think on the same night.
No, really?
I think so. Or like
I didn't know that.
A week after, like it was like bam bam and oh wow, blackout. Like that was
it.
Yeah. Oh no, we loved Barry. It's so good. All right. What will almost said Severance. What is Succession going to be remembered for, Brookes? What is its legacy?
Its legacy is Tom. I think. I mean, I think we're already seeing that. I don't know how on TikTok you all are, but I'm extremely on TikTok, especially right now. Not. Oh my God. And I can tell you that the Tom memes and the Tom audio and it's all Tom. It's Tom. All of his lines, all of his scenes, all of his facial expressions. Like, I think he's the lasting legacy. Tom with Greg.
Yes. Very memeable. Very.
Yes.
Like they're like vignettes. They would break off and do like a 1 to 2 minute, like just throwing heaters. And it was just like, this is gold.
His scene about the capacious bag, the ludicrous bag.
It's absurd. It is unhinged.
Anyway, unhinged. There's so many Tom audios. Which, I think it's Tom.
Also, Brookes, you made this point and we didn't circle back on it. One of the most well acted shows on TV, and what they're able to do with sometimes very little dialogue in scenes, and carry this emotional. And Tom, I think, is at the front of that, right? He is just remarkable, and even how we walked into the room as like after Roman signed. He just like had a new walk about himself. And
oh my God, I loved that when he comes in flanked by like all of the suits behind him, like power.
Yeah. And he, what is that actor's name? I have it right here.
Matthew
McFadden. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it Faden or Fadden?
Yeah, I thought it was Fadden.
Sorry, Fadden.
Pride and Prejudice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Michael, what is the legacy of Succession?
I think it's going to be remembered by all the things we talked about, just it being like a comedy drama, the perfect performances, the cast. She said Tom, I completely agree, Tom and Greg. And just what I said 10, 20 minutes ago, like just how consistent it is. Like, I don't like the shows that we were just talking about, like Succession might not have the highs that some of those shows have, but it's just all the way through, like, you know,
dude. I think it had a lot of highs, man. Like,
yeah, it has so many highs, but
oh my gosh.
I don't think it has some of the lows that some of the like Breaking Bad has some lows, you know, Game of Thrones for sure has some lows, but Succession is just all the way through. It's so good.
I wonder if Succession has rewatchability, knowing how it's going to end. Like, if I go back and rewatch it, am I going to be as enthralled by the plot as I was this first time, knowing that all of this is just a waste of time? I'm just thinking about that, like, because I think a lot of that was.
So.
Oh man,
I think it's funny enough and witty enough and sharp enough to be rewatchable.
Yeah.
And I guess I think you're going to pick up new things from the subplots.
Yes.
Like, obviously you're going to know like how it's going to end, but you're going to pick up like certain lines because the show is very witty, and you're going to pick up all these comedic lines. It's going to floor you.
Also, knowing, I'm going to have to bleep this out, but knowing that the future CEO of Waystar Royco like drinks his own is probably going to be a really funny like callback. Like,
I knew they were going to give it to him when I learned his last name was Wamsgans, which is just the worst last name in the history of last names. It is so emasculating. And
did you hear the TikTok about his last name and the Easter egg in his last name?
No.
Oh, Brookes, I thought you were on TikTok. So apparently Wamsgans is an old player for the New York Yankees, last name Wamsgans, who had like the last unassisted triple play in Major League Baseball. And so they're saying, oh my
God,
like all these names, Shiv actually is like Shiv, like all these like names have a purpose, but Wamsgans, he took out all three Roys on that day and ended up being the the king. That was the rumor going into the finale. It was like, it went viral for a little bit. I saw on Twitter, and then it actually happened.
No, I didn't know that about.
Yeah, Wamsgans was an old Yankees, I think like it was a long time ago.
You just like any character you give that last name to, they're the ultimate underdog. It literally doesn't matter what other attributes you assign.
Yeah,
like for me, that's it.
Yeah. I think one of the things I'm going to remember about it the most is just the extravagance and wealth it flaunted around all the time.
There was a helicopter in every episode.
I didn't know what a PJ was until like I thought there was the things you wore at night, like a private jet. Like there's things that are like in like the zeitgeist now that like, oh yeah, Succession brought that over, or at least made it seem like that's how these people live. Like to think about how much like they just like burn through so much of everything all the time. It was really just
all the time
absurd.
Yeah. The yacht episode where they're just constantly all helicoptering or boating like back and forth from the yacht. Like what?
Like the extravagance and locations, they're pretty unrivaled.
Yeah.
And even with the clothes, the cars, like it was just like man. So I think yes, Tom, yes, cast, performances, and I think just the show aesthetic was really, really unique. And I'd never really seen a show tap into it like they did, as successfully as they did. And it was such a joy to watch. Brookes, what are you doing with your Sunday nights now? Or did you watch a Sunday night, or did you?
I haven't figured it out. Well, I mostly binged, so I actually,
interesting.
It wasn't a weekly thing for me, but I do have that feeling of like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Like when I finished it last week or 2 weeks ago, it was like, I suddenly had this hole in my life.
Yes.
That Succession used to fill.
Yeah. Michael, what are you doing with did you watch it live?
Yeah, I watched it live. Yeah. And it's sad that it's not here anymore.
Yeah.
Right now they're doing The Idol with the weekend show. I'm not really fond of it, but
I've heard about it. I've heard a lot of not good things about it, but
yeah. I just look at not to bash it because I don't want to give it light, but I just look at it like, damn, we went from Succession to this. Like, that's crazy. But
how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I know. The Succession.
Well, we're really happy because our show, we being my husband and I, The Righteous Gemstones is back. So that may be our new Sunday night thing because it's also HBO.
Yes.
And also about like a sort of royal rich family of siblings.
And a succession with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The parallels are strong.
Yeah. I'm super interested in this show. We watched the pilot and it was just a lot. I wanted to keep watching it. Les was like, she needed
a lot
distance. But I thought it was super funny. But I like the cast. I think the cast is super funny too.
Yes, it's very talented people.
This was incredible. I've loved every minute. Michael Brookes, thank you so much for coming on up next. This has been great. Brookes, final thoughts on Succession.
I mean, everyone should watch it. It's only 4 seasons, which we talked about at the beginning. Could have been way more, but they wrapped it up all right. So you should watch it. Find some time.
So good. Michael, thoughts on Succession?
And piggybacking off of Brooke, like I feel the exact same way. You should definitely watch it, especially if you like comedy dramas. Like this is the one.
Mm-hmm. Michael, for being one of your first podcasts, you use the word piggybacking just like you're a podcast pro, man. And so I don't know, like, awesome job. Well, this has been so much fun. Adam will be with you back here in a week or so on Up Next. Thank you all so much for downloading and listening. It's Up Next. Shouts to the Press Play Podcast Network for making this possible. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Up Next Podcast. We always follow back. And hey, we're launching a new podcast, the Fanfare Podcast. Yes, we're launching a brand new podcast all about movies. JD and I are going to be releasing our premiere episode about the Raiders of the Lost Ark next week in preparation of the Dial of Destiny. It's going to be a lot of fun. Each movie we're going to do a movie report card, and we're going to give it a grade A through F on all sorts of categories like acting, directing, cinematography, score, setting, like location, movie poster. It's going to be a ton of fun. And do
you both have to agree on the same grade?
No.
Okay, you can give it a grade and JD can give it a grade.
Yeah.
Got it. Because I was going to say, you two will never agree.
No, probably not, but it'll be great. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be releasing some interviews, director, actor interviews, and all that stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Check that out, the Fanfare Podcast. And I think you guys will enjoy it. Brookes, Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chase.
so much.
See ya.
Thank you.